What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another New Comics This Week previews episode. In today's video, I'm going over all the new releases for May 17th, 2023's New Comic Book Day. As always, everyone, I'm going to be going over all the new releases from the major publishers and a ton of the indie companies as well, those new books' variant covers, if there's any sort of important info about them, and of course, which books I'm going to be getting as well. And as always, as I begin to talk about these books, just be aware that there's still delays and shipment issues happening amongst the different publishers, so once it gets closer to New Comic Book Day, just check with your LCS to see which ones are actually going to be getting in. Now, without further ado, everyone, let's talk some comics. So now, real quick, everyone, if you are new to this channel, down below in the description, I got a chapter list of all the different publishers I'm going to be talking about today, so feel free to jump around this video. The first one I'm going to be going over today is Scout Comics, and we've got Kitsune, issue number 3 coming out. Then we've got a brand new series, Drexler, issue number 1. Here's cover A. This is the 1 in 10 incentive, and now we've got a 1 in 50 incentive variant. Moving on to Snow White, Zombie Apocalypse, Legendary Edition, issue number 1. Then we've got a brand new one, Cartrina's Caravan, The Night of La Lechuza, issue number 1. And then finally from them, we've got Oswald and the Star Chaser, issue number 2. Next publisher today is Zenescope, and we've got Cinderella vs. Queen of Hearts, issue number 2 coming out, and it's got 4 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the cover B Tarragona variant, and then finally we've got a cover C Lamar variant. Moving on to Man, Goat, and the Bunny Man 2023 special, issue number 1. It's got 6 different covers. This is cover A. Here's cover B, the Chroma variant, and then finally we've got a cover C Garvey variant. The last one coming out from them this week is Belle, Shape of Fear, issue number 1, so we got a brand new one on the way, and it's got 4 different covers, folks. This is cover A. Here's cover B, the Tarragona variant, and then finally a cover C Cohen variant. Moving on to Archie Comics, the first one is Chilling Adventures presents Chinks, A Cursed Life, issue number 1. I'll tell you what, everybody, I've never read an Archie comic in my life. I picked up the last Chilling Adventures one that came out, and it was very good. It was written by Cullen Bunn. I think it was called Cult of That Wilkin Boy. Check that one out, too. I'm definitely going to be checking this one. Here's cover A, and then we got a cover B Murakami variant. Moving on, we got Archie Jumbo Comics Digest, issue number 340, and this one features 2 brand new stories. Moving on to Red 5, they've got Fallen, issue number 3 coming out. After that is Aftershock, and the first one is Fear of a Red Planet, issue number 4. And finally from them, we got Bulls of Beacon Hill, issue number 5. Moving on to Sumerian Comics, the first one is Soko, issue number 2. I talked about this one a few times now. It seems like it keeps getting delayed. It's got 4 different covers, though. Here's cover A. This is the cover B, Tameta variant, and then finally a 1 in 10 incentive variant. Moving on, we got a brand new one from them. It's Feeder, issue number 1. This is cover A, the main. Here's cover B, the Terminator homage variant, and then finally a cover C variant. Next up is AWA Upshot. They've got Red Zone, issue number 3 coming out. I don't really like this series so far. I don't think it's that good. I know I've talked about it in the past. The spy, espionage type series, it's not really my cup of tea. It has to have something that's really unique to it, but so far the story's just not doing it for me. Next up, we got a brand new one from Fantagraphics Books. Oh, you weirdos like myself, get ready. We've got Red Room, Crypto Killers, issue number 1. Red Room is back. This series, I mean, I want to call it awesome. It's a very good read. It's very graphic and very mature, though, so just be aware of that going into it, but they've got a couple different volumes out for it. I suggest checking it out. It's got 5 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the 1 in 10 Piscore variant, and then finally a 1 in 15 Rug incentive variant. Moving on to Vault Comics, they've got End After End, issue number 7, and this is the end of the arc for those of you reading this one. Here's cover A, and then we got a Kangas variant. Moving on to Mad Cave Studios, they've got Nature's Labyrinth, issue number 6. I've heard great things about this series, just sadly I haven't been reading it. Moving on to Titan Comics, they've got Moriarty, Clockwork Empire, issue number 4. Here's cover A, and then we've got a cover B Subic variant. This next publisher is the last small indie publisher I'm going to be going over today. It's Oni Press, and they've got Rick and Morty Presents Maximum Overture, issue number 1. Here's cover A, and then we've got a cover B Tramontano variant. Out of all those publishers, I'm assuming my shop is probably going to get the one from Archie Comics, so if they do, I'm definitely going to get that Chilling Adventures issue, but for sure, I'm going to be grabbing Red Zone, issue number 3, and then from Fantagraphics Books, we got Red Room, Crypto Killers, issue number 1. I'm so excited for that book. I hope you guys are too. But next up, let's talk about Image Comics and Boom Studios. All right, and here we go. First one today from Image is Gunslinger Spawn, issue number 20. Here's cover A, and then we got a cover B Kolak variant. Moving on to a series finale, we got Little Monsters, issue number 3. This is such a good read. I highly recommend checking this one out. I'm sure a hardcover or trade paperback is going to be coming out shortly, but for this type of a series written by Jeff Lemire, I advise just reading it all at once. These issues are really easy to go through, but it's such a good story. Here's cover A, and then we got a cover B Alexander variant. Speaking of incredible series, we got Ice Cream Man, issue number 35 on the way. Another one, man. If you're a horror fan, horror anthology fan, this is a must read, and you can pick up pretty much any one of these issues without reading the prior ones. Here's cover A. We got a cover B Blucha variant, and then finally a Tris Forstner variant. Next up is The Walking Dead Deluxe, issue number 63, and it's got 4 different covers. This is cover A. Here's cover B, the Adler and McCage variant, and then finally cover C, Hans variant. Followed up with that, we got No One, issue number 3. This has been a good series. I have not been listening to the podcast, though. I hear that really makes the issue a lot better. Here's cover A, this is the cover B Earl's variant, and then finally we got a cover C Englert variant. Moving on to Dark Ride, issue number 6. This is another really good one that I recommend checking out. Horror fans, man, we got so many good books coming out. It's got 4 different covers. Here's cover A, this is the cover B Riccardi variant, and then finally cover C Ganashao variant. Followed up with that is Ordinary Gods, issue number 12, and it is the series finale. Moving on to the Magic Order, volume 4, issue number 5. This is cover A, here's the cover B Black and White Ron variant, and then finally a cover C Panazian variant. After that, we got a series finale for Hexware, issue number 6. I've heard some good things about this series, but I don't know a lot of people reading it. So if you're enjoying it, let me know what you think about it down below. Here's cover A. This is the cover B Sealy variant, and then finally cover C variant. Next up, we got a brand new one coming out. It's Arcade Kings, issue number 1. It's got 4 different covers. This is cover A. Here's cover B, the Lewis variant, and then finally a 1 in 10 Gibson incentive variant. After that is Immortal Sergeant, issue number 5, and then finally from them, we got the Giant Cockshoe, issue number 2. Man, that first issue was not what I was expecting. A very weird and wacky first issue. If your shop has it, just page through it before you pick it up. It was pretty good, though. Out of all those issues, I'm for sure going to be getting Little Monsters, issue number 13, Ice Cream Man, issue number 35, No One, number 3, Dark Ride, issue number 6, and then maybe we're going to see how the rest of my week goes, but I might check out the Giant Cockshoe, issue number 2. Like I said, first issue wasn't bad. It definitely wasn't what I was expecting at all. Page through it first. Moving on, we got Boom Studios, and the first one is the end of the arc for House of Slaughter. This is issue number 15. It's got 8 different covers. This is cover A. Here's cover B, the Deladera variant, and then finally a cover C, Luckert variant. Next up today is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, issue number 108, and it's got 5 different covers. This is cover A. Here's cover B, the Vilches variant, and then finally a 1 in 10 Bernardo incentive variant. After that is The Seasons Have Teeth, issue number 2, a very, very intriguing first issue. I'm definitely going to check this one out. Here's cover A. This is the 1 in 25 Fiumara incentive, and then finally we got an FOC reveal variant. Next up is the Vampire Slayer, issue number 14. Here's cover A. This is the cover B Yoshitani variant, and then finally a 1 in 10 Partridge incentive variant. This next one's the last one coming out from Boom Studios. We got Mosley, issue number 4, another series I've heard great things about, but sadly I'm not reading. It's got 6 different covers. This is cover A. Here's the cover B Galori variant, and then finally a 1 in 10 Berenz incentive variant. Out of all those issues, I'm definitely going to be getting House of Slaughter, issue number 15, and then The Seasons Have Teeth, number 2. But next up, let's talk about Dark Horse, IDW, and Dynamite. All right, and so the first one today from Dark Horse is Star Wars, The High Republic Adventures, The Nameless Terror, issue number 4. After that is Masters of the Universe, Masterverse, issue number 4. This is cover A. Here's cover B, the Lopez variant, and then finally a cover C, Asio variant. Continuing on Dark Horse, we got Masquerade, issue number 5. This is cover A, and then this is the cover B Lotte variant. Moving on to Stranger Things, Tales from Hawkins, issue number 2. It's got 4 different covers. This is cover A. Here's the cover B Shunover variant, and then finally a cover C Hristov variant. Moving on to a brand new one, we got Miss Truesdale and the Fall of Hyperborea, issue number 1. This is cover A, and then we got a cover B Magnola variant. After that, this is the last one coming out from them this week. It's Order and Outrage, issue number 3. I read the first issue, really didn't like it at all, so I skipped the second one. Here's cover A, and then we got a cover B Starlin variant. The artwork was very nice, though. Moving on to IDW, the first one is Sonic the Hedgehog, issue number 60. This is cover A. Here's cover B, the Curry variant, and then finally we got a 1 in 10 Ford Drain incentive variant. Moving on to Star Trek, issue number 8. This one's got 6 different covers. This is cover A. Here's cover B, the Wingard variant, and then finally a cover C Rise variant. Continuing on, we got Earth Drivers, issue number 7. It's got 4 different covers. This is cover A. Here's cover B, the Bercelli variant, and then finally a 1 in 10 Albuquerque Full Art incentive variant. Moving on to a brand new one, we got Star Trek Echoes, issue number 1. It's got 4 different covers. This is cover A. Here's cover B, the Chukadov variant, and then finally a 1 in 10 Sparrow incentive variant. Moving on, this is the last one coming out from them this week, and it is another new one. We got Dark Spaces, Good Deeds, issue number 1. It's got 6 different covers. This is cover A. Here's cover B, the Beals variant, and then finally cover C, Sherman variant. I won't be grabbing any of those books, so moving on to Dynamite. The first one is Disney Villains, Maleficent, issue number 1. It's got 40 different covers. Here's cover A. Here's cover B, the Lee variant, and now finally a cover C, Meyer variant. Moving on to a brand new one, we got Elvira in Monsterland, issue number 1. It's got 15 different covers. This is cover A. Here's cover B, the Royal variant, and then finally we got a cover C, Beale variant. Next up is Deja Thoris, issue number 3, and it's got 13 different covers. This is cover A, the Maid. Maine, we got a cover B Linsner variant, and then finally cover C Puebla variant. This next one's the last one coming out from them this week, but we do have another brand new one. It's Red Sonja, Pearls Before Swine, issue number 1. Here's cover A. We got a Kitson variant, and now finally a cosplay variant. I mean, if you guys know any better, typically Dynamite has an insane amount of covers. This one's only showing those 3 right now, so just be on the lookout once it gets a little bit closer to New Comic Book Day. Out of all those issues, I don't plan on grabbing any of them. But next up, let's talk about DC Comics. All right, here we go, DC fans. First one today from them is The Flash, issue number 799. It's got 5 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the cover B Perkins and Spicer variant, and then finally a cover C Young variant. Moving on to Batman Superman World's Finest, issue number 15. It's got 4 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the cover B Sampier and Redondo variant, and then finally we got a 1 in 25 Simonson and Martin incentive variant. Next up is Wonder Woman, issue number 799. It's got 5 different covers. This is cover A. Here's the cover B Raza variant, and then finally cover C Dodson and Dodson variant. Next up is Superman, issue number 4. This has been a very fun series. If any of you guys have been interested in DC, looking at trying to hop onto some of these Dawn of DC series, coming from someone who doesn't have a ton of knowledge with some of these DC characters, I really recommend the Dawn of DC stuff. All of these new series, Superman, Shazam, I forget some of the other ones like Green Lantern as well, they're all very new reader friendly. These first issues give a nice backstory, a nice introduction to a lot of the characters, and then it jumps right into it. I didn't feel lost jumping into these series, and I really do recommend checking them out because they've been very good. For Superman, we got 8 different covers for this one. Here's cover A. This is the cover B Rodriguez variant, and then finally cover C Frayden and Hope variant. Moving on to Titans, issue number 1. It's got 11 different covers. This is cover A. Here's cover B, the Jim Lee variant, and then finally cover C Bartel variant. Next up today is Catwoman, issue number 55. This one's got 6 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the cover B Boo variant, and then finally a cover C Panazian variant. Moving on to Batgirls, issue number 18. It's got 4 different covers. This is cover A. Here's cover B, the Marquez variant, and then finally cover C Kung AAPI Heritage Month variant. Moving on today to Superboy, the Man of Tomorrow, issue number 2. This is cover A. Here's cover B, the DeMeo variant, and then finally cover C 1 in 25 Howard incentive variant. Moving on, we got a brand new one. It's Batman, the Brave and the Bold, issue number 1. If you're interested in this one, it's just 4 short stories, so be aware of that going into it. It's got 5 different covers. This is cover A. Here's the cover B Chung variant, and then finally cover C Cho variant. Moving on to Black Adam, issue number 11. It's got 4 different covers. This is cover A, here's cover B, and then finally a cover C Bayless variant. Next up today is a brand new one. We got Cyborg, issue number 1. It's got 5 different covers. This is cover A, here's the cover B Rainy variant, and then finally cover C Corona variant. Moving on to another new one. There's a lot of new ones from DC this week, so get the wallets ready. We got the Vigil, issue number 1 on the way. It's got 5 different covers. Here's cover A. We've got a cover B Sing variant, and now finally a cover C Pop Man AAPI Heritage Month variant. Now for this next one, yes, it is another brand new one. We've got Dawn of DC Primer, issue number 1. Here's cover A. This is the blank sketch variant, and then finally we've got a foil variant. So there's a lot of new ones obviously coming out this week. I just got done hyping up the Dawn of DC. I'm going to be checking out all of the new ones. I'm going to see how the art is. I'm going to check out the writers on them as well. We're going to go from there, but I'm definitely going to be getting a couple of these new ones from DC this week. Let me know down below which ones you're going to be getting. But next up, let's finish this video now with Marvel Comics. All right, everyone. First one today from Marvel is X-Men, issue number 22. It's got 13 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the 1 in 25 Bradshaw incentive, and now finally 1 in 50 Chew incentive variant. Moving on to Venom, issue number 19. The series has just been an absolute stinker to me. It's got 4 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the Panazian Spider-Verse variant, and now finally a 1 in 25 Mastrazo incentive variant. I think I still have it on my poll list, but I don't know how many more of these issues I could do for this series. After that, we got Hulk Annual, issue number 1. Here's cover A. This is the Sharp variant, and then finally Hamner Spider-Verse variant. Next up is X-Force, issue number 40. This is cover A, the main. Here's the Tan variant, and then finally a Beren Spider-Verse variant. Moving on to the big 700th issue for Fantastic Four. This is issue number 7. It's got 8 different covers. You think for the big 700th issue they'd have more than 8 covers, but it is what it is. They're all reserved for the Spider-Verse stuff. Here's cover A. This is the 1 in 25 Hidden Gem incentive, and now finally a 1 in 50 Land Black and White incentive variant. Continuing on with Marvel this week, we got She-Hulk, issue number 13. It's got 4 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the Bartel Spider-Verse variant, and now finally a 1 in 50 Land Black and White incentive variant. After that is Miles Morales Spider-Man, issue number 6. Now, I know lately I've kind of been dogging on Marvel a little bit for a lot of the series they've been coming out, but man, Miles Morales has been phenomenal. I recommend checking this one out. It's got 4 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the Caselli Marvel Icon variant, and now finally a 1 in 25 Okazaki Incentive variant. Continuing on, we got Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty, issue number 12. Here's cover A, and then we got a Gomez Spider-Verse variant. Moving on to a brand new one, I know a lot of people are hyped up for this one. We got the Avengers, issue number 1, a brand new Avengers series. It's got 15 different covers. This is cover A. This is the 1 in 25 Chichetto incentive, and then finally a 1 in 100 new incentive. After that is Star Wars Bounty Hunters, issue number 34. It's got 4 different covers. This is cover A. This is Sprouse Return of the Jedi 40th Anniversary variant, and then finally a Cam and Coley variant. Continuing on Marvel this week, we got Guardians of the Galaxy, issue number 2. What'd you guys think of the first issue? I personally didn't read it, but I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on it. It's got 6 different covers, though. Here's cover A. This is the 1 in 10 Walker Design incentive, and then finally a 1 in 50 Peach Momoko incentive variant. Next up is Red Goblin, issue number 4. Here's cover A. This is the Yoon variant, and then finally a Macone Spider-Verse variant. Continuing on, we got Predator, issue number 3. This is cover A, and then we got a Kokolo variant. After that is Bloodline, Daughter of Blade, issue number 4. It's got 4 different covers. This is cover A, the main. Here's the Cola Spider-Verse variant, and then finally a 1 in 25 Mac incentive variant. Next up is Spider-Man 2099, Dark Genesis, issue number 3. It's got 4 different covers. This is cover A. Here's the Lashley Frame variant, and then finally a 1 in 25 Mason incentive variant. Continuing on, we got a new one coming out from them. It's Danny Ketch Ghost Rider, issue number 1. It's got 5 different covers. This is cover A. Here's the Lubera variant, and then finally 1 in 50 Hidden Gem incentive. Now, finally, this is the last one coming out from them this week, so they got a pretty solid week on the way. It's Planet of the Apes, issue number 2. I love that first issue. It's got 4 different covers. Here's cover A. This is the Albuquerque variant, and then finally a 1 in 25 Gist incentive variant. Out of all those issues, I'm probably going to get Venom issue number 19, assuming it still is on my pull list. Miles Morales issue number 6, and then finally Planet of the Apes issue number 2, but I am going to take a little peek at that new Ghost Rider series as well. We're going to see what the artwork looks like. But that is all the new comics coming out this week. Let me know what you think about all the new books that's coming out for this week's new comic book day. I hope you enjoyed this video, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out some more content, I've got 2 more that's going to be popping up very shortly over there. If you want to join my community Discord, it is free. The link is down below in the description. Let me know if you have any questions with it. And thank you so much, everybody, and I will see you on the next one.